we're in cold climates, and I'm in Canada, and I'm in one of the lowest climates in Canada. Many of the people who watch this channel are in Europe and northern US. Regardless, we need to know what can reduce our stress in the spring by what we can plant in the fall. Yes, that's right, folks. There are seeds you can actually plant right now, so you do not have to start them indoors, that will successfully overwinter and then actually pop up in the spring once the soil is warm enough. And I'm going to give you that list here today. It's a list of flowers and vegetables. Now, number one reason to do this is obviously to get a head start, less stuff started indoors. But the other reason why you actually may want to consider this is because those seeds germinating and popping up are a great indicator for it being time to actually get into the garden and start sowing seeds. So if you want to use this and as a tactical way to figure out when you can actually start sowing seeds, that's another great property to it. Hard part is actually, first off, the soil prep. Very important part of even what seeds you can use. Okay, so first off, let's discuss the soil prep. This part is important. Number one is actually increasing the organic material in that soil system. The reason for this is because it's going to increase the level or the rate of percolation. If you watch my video on things to do for fall prep, that I released on Sunday, I think, I spoke about percolation and its importance. And one of the ways to increase it is through organic material. So you are going to want to go through and actually physically prep the soil by mixing in organic material, broadcasting organic material on the top, some way of breaking it up, because it's very common at this time of the year to see a lot of aggregation and cracking and that sort of stuff in your soil, which, by the way, is totally normal. Soil is meant to do that. It's just you got to refluff it to put the seeds in. Now, this refluffing is going to reduce erosion, and erosion is going to be the bane of your existence when it comes to seed starting now for spring, because ultimately speaking, the seeds can be washed away in the spring when things begin to thaw out and the water starts to run. So that's number one. Number two is going to be your mulch. Now, you need to be semi-strategic with this. You don't want a super thick layer of mulch that's going to snuff out the seeds, particularly for little tiny seeds like, poppies, for example. But you also don't want to miss out on putting enough and those seeds being exposed to too much cold and ultimately being winter killed. So it's a mix between the two. One of the ways I find this can be achieved is through smaller, finer forms of mulch. So this could be peat, typha, sawdust, that sort of thing, shredded leaves. I stay away from wood chips and large plant debris. The reason for this is because it's much smaller. There's lots of surface area. You don't have to put a super thick layer on to get the same level of insulation, but you have the benefit. Now, once you toss, a layer on, as the summer or as the winter goes on, you do want to pack on snow. So if you have snow available to you, put the snow on top, because that snow will disappear and it will expose the seeds, but it's an insulator until it disappears. If you're in an area that is cold and you can't put snow in the space because there's just always freeze thaw, you're gonna want to put insulation on the area that is removable. So what this could mean for you is doing a layer of peat or compost as an insulator, and then putting larger chunkier leaves on top, piling them on, and then actually physically removing them in the spring so that when they germinate, they don't have to really fight for the light. They're able to expose themselves relatively quickly. Okay, so now that we've set up the ground rules, what are the seeds you can add? Let's talk about flowers first. So there's a ton of different ones you can add, but some of my favorites that I know and can almost guarantee will actually grow even in the coldest of climates are poppies, hollyhocks, sunflowers and coneflowers, then actually columbines as well. Oftentimes, they also don't transplant very well. So poppies in particular don't transplant well. So being able to start them from seed now is wonderful. Hollyhocks you can transplant and will actually transplant all right, but it's just another thing you got to add to the docket of things to do. So do put those in at the moment. Now, like I said, there's a big list of flowers you can actually put in your environment. So do a quick Google search for your zone, for your area, what can be winter sown for flowers, and it should populate a list that's valuable, but these 4 I know will grow in nearly any environment. Okay, next up is the vegetables. So first is the onions, leeks, and shallots. These 3 can be sown from seed in the fall. Now, of course, with the onions, you could use the sets as well and put them in the ground here in fall. I haven't had great luck with it, but it is possible and you can do it, and it can yield larger sized bulbs at the end of it. So keep that in mind. But if you wanted to start from seed, you could also do that and then treat the onion, if you will, as a perennial in the future to continue cultivating a larger bulb. Just keep in mind, the second year it will flower. It's guaranteed because they're biennials. Okay, these 4 are probably one of my favorites because it actually changes the taste of the plant, and that is turnips, carrots, radishes, and beets. So these 4, when they're sown in the fall and then mulched appropriately, are actually sweeter and tastier and more flavorful when it's time to harvest. The other benefit to starting them earlier is the fact that these radishes and turnips in particular are very easily damaged via thrips, and an early start means that once the thrips actually become an issue, the leaves are too tough and too developed for the thrips to impact them. So the sooner you actually get them growing and germinating, the better. Otherwise, the only other kind of workaround thrips is to actually establish them in a greenhouse indoors and then transplanting them outside once they begin to develop those first true leaves. So you can actually try to beat the problem of flea beetles. Now, the other benefit is, of course, the fact that you are going to get an earlier harvest, which in some cases can mean you can put on 2 crops rather than 1 in that space, which is always wonderful. Not to mention radishes and turnips absolutely love to bolt in heat, and so you're actually going to miss the heat, the high heat, and then alternatively miss the bolting, so you actually can get more vegetable that you can physically eat and is tasty. This one is my go-to every single year, and that is peas. Yes, snap peas, hands down, is one of my favorite because it's a great indicator for what temperature your soil's at. They're some of the first plants up, and who doesn't like just casually eating peas? Now, I don't plant peas for the purpose of harvesting. I plant peas literally as my indicator plant, along with being able to eat while I weed. The next 4 are loosely related to each other. The first one being Brussels sprouts. So Brussels sprouts are one that will work in some areas, not all, but it will work in some areas, and need typically a pretty darn long growing season in order to do well. And again, they like to do a bulk of the growing in cooler temperatures, meaning in that early spring. So Brussels sprouts are another one you can actually give a shot with fall sowing. Kale. And the kale can be all different shapes and sizes. You can do winter kale, you can even do collard greens if you wanted. All of these do well in a winter sown space. They tend to do well with even first frost. So in the event that you have a lot of like freeze thaws, meaning things will germinate and then freeze and then germinate and freeze, this will help you because many times these will survive, and quite often they can even just get doused under snow. If you know it's going to freeze, you just literally just pop snow on top of the leaves and that plant will typically make it. Spinach is another one that actually does well with that too. This one I was kind of shocked by, and I don't know how true it is, but cabbage. Now, given my cabbage is always Copenhagen cabbage, I don't really do any other kinds of cabbage, but I guess it makes sense that it would work considering they do well in like colder climates. They're some of the first plants that I actually pop outdoors. So that's one that can work pretty darn well. And then kohlrabi is another one. So kohlrabi is winter sown. I usually start it in the greenhouse. I've never tried to winter sow it, but apparently, supposedly, it's one that does well with winter sowing. So you could also give that a shot. And probably one of my favorites that works sometimes, but don't always, depending on how much you mulch, is actually squashes, particularly pumpkins. So if you have jack-o'-lanterns left over, you don't feel like making the seeds into like edible seeds. The sun is like stupid. If you don't feel like making them into edible seeds, literally huck that pumpkin into your yard, and you'd be shocked what ends up happening with that. And like I said, it's hit or miss depending on how much mulch is placed on top, but it does work pretty darn good. And if you want to know other ways you can dispose of excessive levels of organic material this time of year very quickly in a cold climate, check out this video on how I compost, because I literally just do it all right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye. Move. Get away. Both of you are under the tripod. Why? We do not know. Trouble. Trouble. Both of you are trouble.